It used to be that calling a film a turkey was an insult. Nowadays, there's actually an audience for some of the worst movies ever made.
Baby, you are gonna go broke showing turkeys like these.
Now we're talking turkey.
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
It's turkey time. Gobble, gobble.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Let's Talk Turkeys. I'm Movie Miss, and I'm here with my co-host, as always, Miss Nikki Flicks. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, kind sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Are you ready to dive into our movie today?
So ready to walk the plank.
All right. So for everyone listening, we are covering the Pirate movie from 1982.
Only one movie will have this sound. The Pirate King. And only one movie will have Christy McNichol and Christopher Atkins singing.
Nothing's gonna stop us if we just believe. How can I live without her? When she's all I'm living for.
Loving, laughing, leaping, and swinging their way through time in the biggest, most original movie in 100 years, the Pirate movie.
Pirate? You mean like walking in the plank, buried treasure, hack, slash off with his head, and the Jolly Richard and everything?
Rid me of these villains, and Mabel's hand is yours. The Pirate movie. It's more than a musical.
Man, I'm older than the Beatles, but I'm younger than the Rolling Stones.
It's more than an adventure. And it's definitely more than a pirate movie.
I want a happy ending.
The Pirate movie. It's more movie than ever before.
Not bad.
Which we are madly in love with, but technically is a turkey, which is why we're talking about it today. It's got a critic score of 9%.
Ouch.
Yes, but I will tell you the audience is with us because it currently holds a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. So they're with us.
That says it all right there. This is a movie for the audience, damn it.
It is, especially because she breaks the fourth wall quite a bit and talks right to us like Ferris Bueller.
Exactly.
Deadpool does. Yeah. Okay, so Pirate movie is a musical comedy, runs 104 minutes. And one thing that I thought was funny, it struck me, is it's rated PG, which back in 82, a few years before that, Jaws was also PG.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what year PG-13 became a thing. I didn't research that.
So I'm pretty sure it was a combination of two movies, Gremlins, and I can't remember what the other one is.
I want to say it's Indiana Jones.
It could be, but yeah, I'm saying maybe 84, I think, is when we had PG-13 come into existence. And PG-13 would be perfect for a movie like this.
Exactly my thoughts.
Yeah, it would fit that rating for sure. But it just didn't exist at the time.
Yeah, it should have for this. So it had a US dollar budget of 5.9 million and made about 9 million US box office. And the reason I mentioned US dollar specifically is because they filmed it entirely in Australia, which is beautiful. I was so pleased to find out we did that because it's worth every shot of it's worth it.
Yep.
Directed by Ken Anakin, who his genre of choice was swashbuckling. When I looked up swashbuckling films, like in IMDb, big list of movies with like pirate in the name. So I was like, he's perfect for this.
Definitely.
It stars Christy McNichol, Christopher Atkins, Ted Hamilton, who also was executive producer, Bill Kerr, and Maggie Kirkpatrick round out the top cast. Any thoughts, just real brief, on the casting? I personally loved every one of them and wouldn't have changed them for anything.
Totally agreed with you. As we go through the plot of the movie and the characters are introduced, I have a lot of love for every actor and the character they're portraying, and just notes on how well suited they are to the character. Particularly the shining diamond in this movie is Ted Hamilton as the Pirate King. Without a doubt, this guy is having the absolute time of his life. And every time he is on screen, I'm just absolutely living for him. He's so good in this movie, but everyone is good.
Agreed. He definitely stands out. So this is based on the Broadway production of The Pirates of Penzance. It turns out that it was a quick idea to make this film and flip this film, because the screenwriter wrote it in 4 days, and the studio said, we need to pump this out quick, because in 1983 they were going to release the film version of the Broadway production of Pirates of Penzance. So Pirate Movie wanted to beat it to the box office. I guess they both ended up flopping, and I have never seen Pirates of Penzance, nor do I intend to. I kind of just want this to stand alone, but I do understand from my research that all the music is basically, that they did take from it, is the same, but they changed the lyrics.
Pirates of Penzance, Gilbert and Sullivan, it was originally pretty darn sure written in the 1880s. So this is a very old opera, a comedic opera. And yeah, I love that they went the route of bookending it and turning it into sort of a Wizard of Oz situation, where they're not making a movie of Pirates of Penzance. They're incorporating a ton of it and the storyline of Frederick and Mabel and all that, but then adding that little twist to it, which as a kid, I didn't, I had no idea that this is a real classic Broadway show or classic opera. But yeah, I absolutely love that they did that. Pirates of Penzance has a lot of great music in it. And yeah, I think they're really super good choices on which songs to take from it and incorporate into the movie. I would say it's maybe like a 50-50 on original music versus music from Pirates of Penzance. And the updating of the lyrics works really well. We'll get into it as they get into each of the songs. But yeah, I think it's just super smart way to pay homage, but also put their own spin on it.
So for anybody that doesn't know, I'll give you a quick plot synopsis. I pulled this from IMDb, so it is not 100%. The crew of a large ship sail the high seas, encountering other pirates from other ships. The boy from the ship ends up having to save his girlfriend, who is kidnapped by a bunch of other pirates. Sort of?
Not quite. Yeah. I'm sort of having a moment of feeling like you feel often when you hear my opinion on something that you hated and I loved it, where it's like, did they watch the same movie that we're watching? That doesn't sound accurate at all, right?
Yeah, whoever wrote that, I don't know. That's why I like to pull them though from IMDb, because most of the time they are pretty accurate. The movie opens with pirates working on a ship at sea. They're battling against another pirate ship. The men are in voiceover singing a song about being a pirates and the pirate life, and the opening credits are all running over this. And then I laugh because it pops up and it says the end. I was like, wow, that was a damn short movie.
Yeah, that was fun. A great song from Pirates of Penzance. Yeah, well, that was a good movie. The end. Okay.
The end. But then we pull back and see that they were actually just watching that on a little tube television on the docks at a shipyard, where I guess there's like a pirate con happening. They're doing like pirate demonstrations and people are dressed up and everyone's yo-hoing and like watching this demo.
I totally want to go. First of all, that looks like a hell of a lot of fun. I love a good con back in the day before, we couldn't do such things. But yeah, it looks like a super super fun event that they're having here where they're paying homage and they're on board this real ship, and it's just super fun.
It did look fun, actually. I'm giving it shit, but it did look fun. So then we're immediately introduced to Miss Mabel, played by Christy McNichol, and she is walking behind this band of bikini-clad women, all walking in unison to the beat because she's carrying this big boombox the size of a Cocker Spaniel. I don't know how she's carrying this big thing. And she's got her flannel shirt and her glasses and her little female mullet that she's rocking. So I don't know if they tried to play her down and make her look more like homely.
Obviously, I think the setup. So I did some deep diving on the internets and did find some backstory, some explanation, some exposition, if you will, on what went into such choices. So I guess the idea that we're really not at all made aware of, thanks a lot, is Mabel herself is an exchange student in Australia from America. Yeah, I wish I had written down where exactly I got this information, but it was a conversation with the filmmaker. So Mabel is an exchange student in Australia. These women are her surrogate sisters, her surrogate family, women that she's members of a sorority with. I don't know. As a student, this is like her surrogate sisters. And that
you find out in a minute that they clearly know her. They're with her.
Right. Yeah, that explains why she looks like she, one of these things is not like the other. she doesn't necessarily gel with them, but she's kind of stuck with them.
Yeah,
so
it's like
that
they
explains
put up with her.
Yeah, why this band of bikini-clad Australian women are hanging out with Mabel.
Okay, I wondered about that.
Yeah,
because they clearly know her.
And then the hair, you mentioned Mabel's 80s mullet there. Those are extensions. It's such a weird decision they went with. I guess maybe because if you have two mop top blondies as your love interests, they maybe just look too physically similar. So they wanted to extend the hair on McNichol to make her haircut appear, longer, a little more feminine, I guess.
I was just going to throw in more feminine. Yeah.
Yep.
Which I think she's beautiful and has a sweet, soft face. I don't think they had to do that, but I see what you're saying.
I fully agree with you. I love Christy McNichol, and this is my favorite work she ever did is this movie. She's so damn good in it.
So you must not have watched her on, what was that show? Empty Nest?
Oh, no. I lived for Empty Nest because it had the chick from Pirate Movie on it. As a kid, I didn't even get the jokes. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I watched it because Mabel's on it.
Oh, yeah. I guess that was when you were young, huh? Like in the early 80s?
Yeah, like mid 80s. I think that show came around.
Yep. Okay, so Mabel is here, like we said, with the band of surrogate sisters in their bikinis. She ends up on her way following them, bumping into a host of interesting looking characters that we only get 2 seconds with. But there's the ice cream man, the older gentleman, who looks like he's loving every second of his life to the fullest.
Oh, yeah. He's having a damn good time there.
There's the, I guess, blind man who's playing the guitar, or he's just wearing sunglasses
for
tips.
Playing his keyboard. Yeah.
Keyboard.
Getting the little Stevie Wonder vibes there.
Yes, that's what I thought of. So, and I'm guessing the guy that was hosting the whole thing is Ted Hamilton, who ends up being the Pirate King.
Yeah, or
was that him?
Oh, that's definitely him.
Okay.
The one who's showing the little clip of the movie to the folks.
Right.
He works there. He's one of the people hosting the event, like Frederick, quote unquote.
Okay.
Then you have the actor who plays the sergeant / French detective.
Yes.
Inside Mabel's dream. He is the security guard at the boarding dock for the ship. So yeah, you have all these characters there. You've got your lion, your Tin Man, your Scarecrow outside the dream. She is seeing them. They're real people.
No, that's perfect. I didn't even catch that was him.
Uh-huh.
I did catch, though, in the next scene, you can't miss him, Mr. Christopher Atkins, who is never called by a name. He's Mr. No Name.
Right.
He enlists Mabel. Well, he doesn't enlist her. The girls all think it's funny to push Mabel up to be his demo assistant. I'm going to let it all go because it's this 80s movies, fluff thing. But I was so bummed that they thought it would be funny to make fun of Mabel and put her up there.
Embarrass her, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, don't start my movie like that. I want to like Mabel. But he grabs her and pulls her up and they do the sword fighting demo. I wrote down in quotes, God, I'd hate to be pillaged.
Right? He says raping and pillaging. God, I'd hate to be pillaged.
Yeah, that was
Mabel-
so good.
Mabel is clearly repressing some things that are just screaming to come out, including her desire for some sexual healing, maybe.
This whole movie is full of the sexual stuff. I actually really enjoyed it. That's why I was shocked it was PG.
I know, right?
So let's cut to they're doing the demo and it ends and he pulls Mabel aside and he says, you know, I'm going out on my boat later and why don't you come along and bring some of your friends? And of course they all overhear this and they all want to go. All of a
Mhm.
sudden they're her besties, right?
Right. I love that though, that he clearly is such a sweetheart and he's liking his little moment with her, interacting with her. He's just tickled by her personality. So he's like, hey, let's go hang out. And just the flock of bitches, as I refer to them, in the bikinis, they just descend. They want to swoop in and steal Mabel's thunder. Damn it.
Yes. They all show up at the boat and they send Mabel to go get their food. The McDonald's, they point out. I don't know if they were a sponsor.
Probably got some of the budget money from McDonald's there.
I did laugh, side note, that his boat is called the Virgo. I was like, oh,
Oh.
hey,
Hey there.
vote for me. So she hands off all the food at the dock to Frederick just as the girls untie it and start it up and they pull away and they leave her stranded on the dock. And I loved that he is distressed and upset about it. He's like, what are you doing? We can't leave her. And they force him to leave her there.
Yeah, they are abducting his ass.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to hang out with Mabel. He thought maybe she'd feel more comfortable bringing a few of her friends along. And look what's happening. Poor guy. He doesn't deserve this crap.
No, but God bless her, Mabel, she runs over and rents a little dinghy boat and she's going to go after them. And I love that her boombox is there on the boat with her.
Well, I love that as she concocts this little plan to do that. She's got great taste in music, man. She's vibing to some Kool in the Gang in that scene. I that sticks out to me. Like this chick has great taste in music, doesn't she?
Well, it's a shame that she took her boombox though, because I don't think it's going to be working after this. It gets flooded.
Well, she can get a new one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. So in her attempt to chase them down, she ends up in this little stormy patch and she falls overboard. She is washed ashore on a nearby beach and she's passed out. And then in a what I can only describe as a Wayne's World fade, you know, the
Yes.
we travel inside her sleeping head, where we come upon a pirate ship battle happening at sea, and Frederick is leading the charge in his awesome outfit. I commented costumer props because didn't everybody look fabulous in this movie?
Yes, I love that there is a difference between the costumes the people are wearing at this convention versus when we're now in the dream. They're super careful. The ship looks more authentic and real. It looks more real than it did in that opening credit scene. And then the costuming, yes, there's definitely a change where this looks way more authentic. This looks like a movie that is set in this time period.
For sure. And everyone's yelling and fighting. We meet the Pirate King, and I don't know what his character, the character name, was it Sam? Like his first mate, or who's his
Yes,
guy that had been playing?
the guy that was playing the keyboard.
Yeah, yeah.
Samuel.
Okay. So what would he be, like a first mate? What do you call that?
Oh yeah. He's he's the first mate and he's a sassy one at that. But yeah, can we talk about the fight scene though? Because
Yes.
OMG, just the so I absolutely adore British sensibility and a British style, quote unquote, of humor. The Benny Hill, if you will.
Okay.
The quickness, how quick paced it is. Frederick barking at people,
Yes.
to get them to back off. Just the quick cuts of it.
Yeah, I wrote there was a ton of
love it.
one-liners.
Yeah, one-liners. The Pirate King is trying to fight with his sword and it just breaks in half and oh shit. just all these silly this barrage of one-liners and physical comedy. It's very British, which it makes sense, this is an Australian movie, but yeah, I love that humor, and it just is rolling so fast in that scene.
Well, the one thing I did point out to myself to make sure I mentioned was they are fighting all these different pirates, but a lot of them look Asian.
They're Chinese. It's a Chinese ship that attacks them.
Okay, so he looks over at Sam and he's like, "Did we order Chinese?"
I thought we ordered Chinese, but this is ridiculous.
Yes. What?
Yeah, I love it. And
it was
then
too
they
good.
capture the Chinese captain, and you got that moment of he's down on his knees and he says, "Spare me." The Pirate King. Oh, he's an Irish tenor, and then he accidentally stabs him right in the crotch. A soprano, even better. Just the silliness.
good.
I love that brand of humor. It works so well for me. It's so funny.
Well, I love the songs, the lyrics, the choreography, everything, the fight scenes. You can't tell that this was thrown together haphazardly. It seems like they would have been in production for many months.
Yes,
don't you think?
I agree with you completely, especially when we get to the next moment here, which is my favorite song, my favorite production of the entire movie is this first big number that we get.
Oh, where Ted Hamilton sings about being the Pirate King.
Am the Pirate King. Yeah,
Yes.
which again is from Pirates of Penzance. I absolutely love it. That's what makes me fall in love with this movie as a kid. It just sets the tone. I live for it. And Ted Hamilton, he's a great performer. He's got a great singing voice, and he's having the time of his damn life.
Yes. And I will tell you, even when I was young and saw this, I don't know what it was. I was attracted to Sean Connery. I was attracted to these older gentlemen. I was attracted to the Pirate King. I didn't want young Frederick. I wanted the Pirate King.
Rocking that silver hair. And can we just talk about his bedazzled cup?
His squeaky codpiece.
Yes.
Yes.
So insane and ridiculous. Whoever came up with the idea that he would be walking around rocking this bejeweled cup. It's so ridiculous. It's such a stupid idea, but it's so funny.
Well, especially when he grabs it and it squeaks like a dog toy.
Yeah. Oh my God. When he's fighting with Mabel in a few minutes. Yeah. It just the squeaking like a dog toy. Yeah. Just
so good.
So silly and goofy. I love it. Give me dick and fart jokes. Yeah. Give me all of it. Again, it's right in line with that British humor, which, I'm married to a man who's British by ancestry, and his father is from England. So he grew up with that super weird, wacky British sensibility of humor. And yeah, this is one of his favorite movies from his childhood too. Thank you very much.
That makes sense.
But yeah, the jeweled cup, the squeaky jeweled cup. Oh God, genius. Whoever came up with that, give him an award.
Right? They sat like feverishly in a corner bedazzling this little thing. I want that job.
Exactly.
So we learn that it is Frederick's 21st birthday, and he gets his apprenticeship papers from the captain, the Pirate King, and he declares that pirates killed his parents, and he feels now duty bound to exterminate all pirates.
Yes.
So they try to convince him to stay. He just says, I'm yearning for something more. There's got to be more to life. There's women, there's all these things I'm not getting being a pirate. And I love that his answer to Frederick is, the full sails of the ship, and apparently a sweaty peck contest between pirates is supposed to be attractive to him. The kiss of the sea air, all these things you're going to leave if you want to, run off and have life. And I'm thinking, what's the draw really to pirate life if you're a dude? Because they all say we miss sex.
Yeah. If there's anything we've missed the last 20 years, all of them in unison, sex.
Right. So, and then why would you try to convince him to stay? I didn't get that.
He's like the Pirate King's little personal pet. He doesn't want him to go anywhere. And that is the idea of his 21st birthday, him wanting to leave the pirates, pitting him against the Pirate King, the pirates. All of that is straight up the plot from Pirates of Penzance. So they're following along, staying accurate to that plot.
That makes sense then. But when they're all like doing their whole silly thing, trying to get him to stay, and they all say they miss sex and all that, I got full on Men in Tights vibes.
Yes.
I loved that scene.
Yep. Me too. When they're make him walk the plank.
Yes.
Here, because he's not gonna listen to what they're saying. I love Samuel says, "Hang five, honky." It's such a goofy line. I absolutely love it.
And so they send him off in his little dinghy boat, this little rowboat, and they're like, good luck, off you go. Next, we see a group of women, which turns out to be all the bikini women from the beginning. And they're all in these beautiful white frilly beachwear type dresses, I guess, with their little parasols and their hats.
Yeah.
And they're making
That's a woman's swimwear. Yeah, appropriate to the time period.
Okay.
Again, the costuming.
I
spot
assumed.
on with the costuming. So good.
But they're making their way down to the beach, and Mabel is straggling behind. I didn't care for them insinuating what a slut Mabel is. It was like, just because her dress is a little bit, torn and she's wearing something revealing, would they really think that she's a virgin, she says.
Who's calling her slutty? Did I miss that?
Yeah. The two of the sisters, they're like, I would wear something like that if only if I was going to bed. And I'm like, I think that's the idea, one of them says.
Oh yeah, that she just like young Frederick is hot to trot, ready to kickstart her sex life. But we got to remember, this is Mabel's dreaming, and in her dream, she is the opposite of how she is in real life. She's overtly sexual. She's comfortable with her body. She wants to show it off. She's waiting for the boys to come give her their pickup lines. So yeah, it's just the antithesis of how we saw her before. And the sisters, instead of being the sisters or the slutty ones walking around their bikinis, now they're dressed the way they are and looking at her and commenting on how she's dressed. It's just a reversal of all that, how Mabel wishes she could be.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we cut to the song and dance sequence. The girls are changing into their big swimwear outfits, and they do a cute little routine with their parasols on the beach. Mabel sees them, and I love that this is where we get the first moment where she breaks the fourth wall, and she looks at the camera and she's like, do you believe this song? And then she like skips off.
Yep. Yeah. Kristen McNichol does such a good job. Her comedy chops are just shining through in abundance. She's so good as just this eye roll. She just isn't this absolutely ridiculous what's happening right now? Like, can you believe this? I love it. I live for it. Right up there with the way Matthew Broderick breaks the fourth wall. Just that snarky kind of little bit of condescension in her voice. I love it. She's so good here.
No, you're so right. So then we've got Frederick in his boat. He sees all the women on the beach and he jumps overboard and swims for shore. This always made me laugh. When he's approaching the beach, you hear this Jaws-ish little bit of music, and then he pops up and scares them, and they all go, pirate, and they run away.
Yeah, and he picks up that garland of flowers that she dropped. I didn't mean to deflower you. What a silly line. I love it. Pirates, I didn't mean to deflower you.
You know what? I'm willing to bet if the first time you saw this was you were really young, you probably didn't even know what that joke meant.
Oh, no idea.
But you laughed.
I wasn't really into or picking up on any of the sexuality, but yeah, what a funny introduction between him and the sister.
Yeah.
He accidentally deflowered her.
Well, then he feels rejected, so he walks off, and then we get this scene of Mabel on her side of the beach and Frederick on his side of the beach, and they're walking and singing a duet about finding their first love. And that's really them singing. Okay.
It is and it isn't. So I have such a finely tuned trained ear for music. Definitely Kristen McNichol, 100%. She has a passable voice. She can carry a tune. She's no Mariah Carey, but yeah, she probably didn't need a whole ton of training. She's pretty good, and that is definitely her voice. Christopher Atkins, not so much. In that article I found with the director, they did explain that he did in earnest do vocal training, and he did perform his vocals However, he needed a little help, and autotune didn't exist at the time. So they re-recorded someone else who had a much better singing voice, singing his parts as well. And to my ear, I can hear that what they did was they layered that performance on top of Christopher Atkins. It sounds like he's singing it 2 or 3 times over with himself. And then they used the same effect with Kristen McNichol to make it match up.
I thought something was up with that because it sounded like a kind of an echo when he's
Yep.
singing.
That's what it is. It's actually 2 voices layered together. One is Christopher Atkins, and a little bit of a shame on them because the soundtrack was released. Christopher Atkins maintained sole credit as the singer of all of his songs. So give credit where it's due. He did do an okay job, enough to keep the voice there, but there was a dub. There was another singer who performed a little better that was layered on top of his voice.
Okay, that makes complete sense after thinking that I was hearing the echo.
And with
That's-
this song, you have this is the first of the original songs written for the movie
And it's
versus
so perfect.
taken from Pirates of Penzance. It is. I love the 80s-ness of it, the sweeping keyboards, and the where you're getting this Sears portrait studio of face in the corner over the shot of them on the beach. Like it's so cheesy. I love me some 80s cheese. This song is just a total cheese ball.
And the montage of them running on the beach and horseback riding. So 80s montage. I love it. So at the end of the song, they approach each other on the beach and then they just kiss with no words. They just kiss. And
They
it's
don't
so
need any
sweet.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's them walking. They share their little backstories briefly of like who they are. And I love that he just says at the end of this 2-minute conversation that he thinks he loves her and he may even want to marry her.
He might. He's just as inexperienced as she is. Remember that, folks. They are
Yeah.
so young and naive and just ready to go. He might even want to marry her. And I love her response. God, that was a short love scene. But yes.
So good. But then she does have to quickly reel it in and remind him that there is a custom and she is the last in line of all her sisters who have to get married off first.
Right.
Wah, wah.
Yep.
Okay, so the pirate ship lands on the beach and they all jump off and start to chase all the sisters.
Yes. This is that what I was talking about, the Benny Hill of it all. Just the speeding up and the silly music, the pirates chasing the girls and they're whacking them with their little umbrellas and oh no, pirates. And then in the middle of it, you have the the Pirate King standing there at the front of the ship tapping it, a little close to the curb, aren't we? And then he puts his sword in the sand and it just goes all the way in and he falls. Just the physical comedy. Oh, I love it. It's so lowbrow, but it's so silly. I love it.
No, the only note I made on the whole chasing of the sisters, the pirates thing, is that they're clearly living out their little role-playing fantasies here because they're like, oh no, pirate. And then they pick her up and she's like barely hitting him to,
No, God, I'd hate to be pillaged. Exactly.
So the Pirate King pulls a sword on Frederick and Mabel grabs a sword and challenges him. They tussle a little. And this is where the codpiece squeaks.
Yes. Yes. He's gotta protect himself, gotta protect the jewels, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh my God, I just got that.
He's gonna protect the family jewels, babe.
And it's bejeweled. I just
when
got
he grabs
that.
it.
I've been watching this movie since
Yeah.
1980 something and I
I
just
know.
got that.
Hey there. And then you have Mabel saying, "You'll be hung." And I love that he says, "I am, and very well, thank you." Just the little double entendre, the little, sexual
Oh,
aspect of the humor. It's so tongue-in-cheek and silly. Yeah.
Watching this, I got to quote Lynn from Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I just know I must be horny.
Exactly.
I'm watching the Pirate King, listening to him going, yes, sir.
Mhm. Then you have one of the pirates is trying to throw a sword across the melee to another one and accidentally stabs him in the chest.
That's right.
I love it. Yeah. And then Mabel's pointing her sword at the Pirate King and he's like, her sword's getting heavy. And she says, "Oh, I'm not aiming at your heart." And that's where you get him grabbing the family jewels. Whee!
Yes. Well, he does.
Then Frederick is chewing on his hand because of the nerves.
Oh
Then
yeah.
he grabs Samuel's hand and starts chewing on his hand as well, and you hear the crunching of his bones. It's just so goofy.
Well, it's goofy from minute one, so you fully have to embrace it or don't bother, in my opinion.
Exactly.
So he goes ahead and gets the best of her. I love the comment. He's like, well, if you love as half as well as you fight. And it's like, I don't think she's into you, dude.
Right? Yeah.
She tells him that her father is a major general.
Yes, he is.
That means something, I guess.
Well, he's a modern major general. This is the biggest and best callback to Pirates of Penzance is yes, these are the daughters. Mabel is the character in Pirates of Penzance as well, and she's the daughter of Major General Stanley,
Okay.
who has definitely retreated into a life of silliness now that he's out of action.
Yes.
He's a rather silly man, but yes, he appears. Bill Kerr as Major General Stanley. So good, so funny, so ridiculous, and then we get this great song. Not now, darling,
Yes.
I'm on.
Yes.
He's got to do his song, the rapid fire, and the way that they did modify these lyrics to fit the time. He's older than the Beatles, but he's younger than the Rolling Stones. I love it. I love it.
And then
so much.
everybody repeats them like the Sisters and Pirates join in.
Yes, yeah, it's a part of the original song, but then they're also bringing it into the 80s. I love it. Just this total production value of this number with the entire cast, all the Sisters and Pirates. And like you were
Yes.
saying, the choreography and everything.
Yeah.
They really took their time with it.
Oh, you can tell. So Mabel, at the end of this little song and dance, ends up telling everyone that Frederick is no longer a pirate. He's not with them, and he wants to marry her and go straight.
Mhm.
So the Pirate King tells the father and the women, you're all free to go. And I wrote this down specifically as a funny line to me. As he's leaving, he says, come on, lads, we have a ship to float and raise the chain. And Sam corrects him and says, anchor. And he says, no, Sam, just disappointment.
Yep, I made a note of that too.
It's so fast.
Yeah, the quickness of it, but then bringing in that the Pirate King is someone who maybe has trouble remembering the correct names of things, the correct words for things, and using that as a way to create these little play on words type moments. Just and it happens so quickly. You really have to pay attention and keep up with it. It's so funny.
Yeah. And then when they go ahead and go, the pirates, they stay on their ship and they drop anchor just outside the cove. So they're hanging around. Let's see. Mabel's father tells her she can't marry. She can't marry a Frederick because, custom or not, he's poor. I
Yep.
was like, well, okay. Mabel suggests that they retrieve the lost family treasure that the pirates took or something. So she and Frederick make a plan to swim out to the ship, steal the treasure, and bring it back, and then they can get married. Thoughts on Frederick's Blue Lagoon cloth diaper situation?
Oh yeah, totally obvious. You even get this little second where you start to hear what sounds like the overture from Blue Lagoon playing as you see him and Mabel running into the water. Just they're totally like wink, wink. Hey, you've seen this guy before, right? It's so overt. It's obvious.
It just occurred to me that shot, I'm replaying it in my head, is the sun setting and you get that beautiful glowing sun and they're running, holding hands toward the water. That is just like Blue Lagoon.
Oh, they're totally like intentionally recalling to mind that, hey, isn't this a dude from Blue Lagoon? It totally is. Yeah. Oh my God, look, he's still got his diaper.
Like wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yep. So if we can back up a second, we'll get out of the Blue Lagoon for a second. There was something that happened right before this that made me giggle so much when Mabel's telling her father, he's telling her, you can't marry him because he's poor. She is so smart and so quick on her feet. She's like, okay, so your problem is money. Well, what if we went and found your money? And then she says, of course you'll have your treasure back, but we would have to deduct finder's fees, attorney's fees, and my commission. I absolutely love how smart and quick thinking Mabel is. That this will satisfy him, get him to drop whatever he's got against Frederick, plus my commission. That's important because it's all my idea, isn't it? I love that. Mabel is just too damn smart for this family, and it shows. So
That
yeah,
is
now
so funny.
they're having their little Blue Lagoon moment, and then they're off to the ship to check out, see what they can find as far as getting that map that is on the Pirate King's back.
Well, yeah, I was so bothered, even though it's stupid, that they're getting this plan together and they swim out there, and then he waits till they're at the ship to say, by the way, the map is tattooed on his back and we don't know where the treasure is. We need the map. I
Right.
was like, why'd you wait to get to the ship to tell her that?
He's a little bit of a ding dong. He's he's lived 20 years at sea. He just like he doesn't really know much about interacting with a woman. He doesn't really understand that might have been relevant before they got in the water and came out here. But either way, Mabel, again, quick on her feet. She's gonna figure out how to do this and make it work. She's gonna take care of business, and he needs to just grab a pen and paper and shut up, stay out of the way.
Yes, she's like, let's go figure out how to get him to take his shirt off. In this scene, I didn't take a lot of notes because I got so sucked into watching it and enjoying it and laughing at it that I totally forgot I didn't even take notes. So if you want to run us through this scene, that would be great.
OMG. Yeah. I had to do 2 rewatches because 1 for the purpose of taking notes, 2 for the purpose of sitting back and laughing and enjoying it because it's just that much fun. So
that's what I should have done.
I know, right? Shame on you. So before Mabel gets into his quarters, you have the Pirate King sitting there. Obviously, he's drinking and he's drunk. He's got his sword, and I don't know what the hell this is about, but it makes me laugh so damn hard. He's got this series of coffee mugs, ceramic mugs, and he's bopping them with the sword or pointing the sword at it, and they're zapping the mug and making it shatter. And he's going down the line. He gets to the last one, and it doesn't work. He grabs part of the handle of the sword and cocks it like a gun, and then it works. What is that about? So stupid, so silly. And then yes, she starts to sneak her way into the room, and under the guise of, she's there for a little sneaky with him. She maybe wants a roll in the hay. He definitely was turning her on earlier today. He's so right, picking up on her sexual desires towards him. Boy, he really had it, didn't he? So here she is. She's ready to fool around.
Well, I believe she just tells him that it's going to turn her on even further if he strips his shirt off and starts doing these bodybuilding poses.
Oh yeah. So she tells him, "Why don't you take off your shirt?" He's like, "No, not going to." So then she's really trying, what the hell can we do here? So he goes over to the window and he's gonna open it up, and she is like, "No, don't do that," because Frederick's right there and he'll see him. And she's like, "Goosebumps, I've got goosebumps." And he says, "Push-ups, I recommend push-ups." So silly. But yeah, then it just whispers in his ear, convinces him, "What's really going to do it for me is if you please just stand here shirtless back to the window and pose for me." She's using his narcissism to get him to sit there and reveal the map to Frederick so he can jot down what he sees. I love how, again, she's so
Genius.
quick on her feet. Yeah, she's totally using her sex as a weapon and using his narcissism as a weapon too. She's so smart. When she's sitting there going, "You are really turning me on right now." Just the sarcasm. She's stomping her little feet. "Oh, it's so good." Like, oh, it's so ridiculous. And he's so drunk he doesn't even realize that she's being a total sarcastic bitch about it. It's so funny.
It works because he's able to jot down the map, Frederick is.
Yep.
I like at the end of the scene too, Mabel blindfolds him
Oh,
so
yeah.
that she can sneak out.
Yeah, she's got one more kink if he'll please just oblige. And he's into it. So yeah, she blindfolds him, sneaks out, and then in comes Ruth
Yes.
to take advantage of the situation. And
I
he
love
says,
it.
"Mabel, your goosebumps have grown." So stupid.
It's so bad. But I do like the I don't know what you would call it. Ruth takes advantage of him in his vulnerable blindfolded situation. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
kind of was rooting for it.
Well, yeah, because
Go,
here she
girl.
comes like, "Hey, dumbass, age appropriate, been a ride or die for quite a while. Why aren't you looking at me as a woman? Come on now." She's quite the woman, isn't she?
Mabel and Frederick, she finds out that he put some holes in the ship to sink it. So they escape by jumping overboard and the ship proceeds to sink. And then we cut to, I'm assuming this song was for the movie, maybe not. The pumping
yeah.
and blowing song.
Yeah. This is one of the original songs for the movie.
Oh, so they're on a boat diving for the treasure. And in this
Uh-huh.
sequence, we get animated fish and an octopus, and they're singing and dancing too.
Yep. So 80s. So this weird ass song about pumping and blowing, and then you get the animation and the little, again, shout out to the Rolling Stones. You get it turns into the mouth with the tongue hanging out. But I swear to you, as an adult, it's like, is this still the same movie? Did we just drop acid? What the hell is happening right now? It's such a WTF moment.
Yeah, you're like, what album do I put on to coincide with watching this film?
Yeah, what the heck is happening? Yeah, I'm on a bad trip right now. But again, it's just another moment where you can put all of the stylistic weirdness aside and appreciate how warm and great Kristen McNichol's singing voice is. She has a really enjoyable singing voice. It's another good moment for her vocally, where yeah, I'm living for it. She's feeling it, and she's accidentally, she'll stop turning her little pump, and then he's running out of air.
Gotta be pumping and blowing.
Well, she's too busy living this moment and singing. She forgets to continue feeding him the oxygen,
It's so good. It really is. If you just throw caution, just don't even, all logic is gone. It's so good.
And if you do maybe forget that we're in a dream here, this is a little way to kind of remind you the animation and what's happening. It's so goofy, and it's like, hey, remember, this is all just a dream. Don't forget.
Right. Well, they end up finding the treasure, and they take it to her father. Frederick tells the father, well, the pirates are, hot on our tail. So you better, he says to Frederick, you better get rid of the pirates, and then you can marry Mabel. Well, the pirates show up, and the Pirate King and Frederick, okay, they have a sword fighting scene. I love that in the beginning of this, in true, like you said, Benny Hill style, the footage speeds up and there's this like old timey organ music.
So ridiculous, but something that makes me giggle right before the pirates do show up is when he's going to send Frederick into town to raise an army, and you don't see him fall off the horse, but you just see him sitting there on his ass, and he's like, how the hell would I know how to ride a horse? I've been at sea.
That's right.
I love that because later on, when Mabel's in the position he's in where she has to go raise an army, she just trampolines up onto the horse. Like, let the adults handle this right now, okay? Just she's gonna take charge. He just immediately fell off the horse. But yes, I have the same note you do when the pirates show up and the Pirate King and Frederick are squaring off. The way they speed up, slow down, the goofy music, the way they're on the roof, then they're inside on a staircase, and now they're outside on a balcony again. They're jumping through windows for no apparent reason.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's so ridiculous what's happening. And one thing that really stuck out to me was how much of this they're taking pains to show you that this is Ted Hamilton and Chris Atkins doing these things. A lot of it. Yeah. They're doing a lot of their own stunt work, which is dangerous and also impressive. And I love that they take pains to show you that, he's jumping through this. Yes, of course it's safety glass, but he's doing it. Yes, he's hanging over the ledge of this building right now. Yes, they're swinging on the chandeliers. Yes. They're pausing to have a drink, of course, and then they throw it out the window for no reason.
They're in the library, and I like that when they're sword fighting, they're destroying busts and furniture and everything, and they're even cutting, like they swipe through some candles, and some fall, but then others don't. And they just this silly physical stuff, like you said. So they end up back in the library after going all around, and the Pirate King does this superhero jump from one level up to the next level. Yep.
Because remember, we're in a dream.
It was so good though.
Yep. That reverse shot of him obviously jumping down, and the way they do it and the sound effect they put over it is so damn goofy and stupid.
Yes. And then they wind up swinging from the chandeliers, like to flying trapeze style, like circus music.
Do. It's so ridiculous. But before that moment comes where they're on the trapeze chandeliers, you have where Frederick traps the Pirate King inside the coffin, and then he starts putting the swords through it like he's got the magician's assistant in the box.
That's right.
And then he opens it to see his handiwork, and the Pirate King appears behind him, and he says, "Hello, sailor," and then he winks at him. And then he makes a dove appear like a magician. It's so stupid. All these weird things that are happening that seem out of context. And then, now they're on the chandeliers, and you get one of my favorite moments of the entire movie is the lightsaber moment that happens here.
Before that moment is what I thought you were just going to say. It's my favorite moment when the Pirate King jumps down and Frederick is still up and he has him in a compromising position with the sword pointed right at Frederick's crotch. And he tells him, drop your sword. And Frederick says, ah, nuts. And the Pirate King says, them too.
Yep. How many times in your life did someone say the word nuts and you went, them too? I know I do it. I still do it to this day.
More than should be legally allowed.
Yep. Nobody ever knows what I'm talking about. But
see,
I say
you
it
get
anyway. It's so funny.
And then the part that you just said, your favorite part, the voiceover of like a Ben Kenobi saying, the Force, Frederick, remember the Force.
And then his sword just turns into a lightsaber and flies up to his hand.
Yes. And I like
Yep.
the Pirate King reaches out to touch it and it goes squeak, squeak, squeak.
Yeah. Whew, when he touches it. Yeah, it's made of the same material as his jewel cup, apparently. But yeah, you touch it and it squeaks. It's like, oh, very nice, you know. And he says, oh, I saw it in a movie once.
Oh, I
It's
love
just,
it.
these are all the influences and silly things that are floating around in Mabel's brain. So you've got
Yes.
her varied taste in music, old timey versus very modern. You've got this craziness with the animation. You've got, oh yeah, she's a big fan of Star Wars. Apparently that's floating around somewhere up in there too. And I love that. It didn't occur to me till my last rewatch. I was like, you know what? Her being named Mabel, there's a strong likelihood that she is aware or maybe was even named after the character of Mabel in Pirates of Penzance. It's the only time in pop culture I recall seeing the name Mabel. So Pirates of Penzance, probably something that floats around and lives in her brain, just like Star Wars and all these other things. It makes sense. These are all the things she's dreaming about. This is the stuff that it exists in Mabel's world.
No, you're absolutely right. Because you have to remember that we are told immediately we see her drifting off. This all is in her head. So it's not like we're watching the movie going, well, this is weird. And then we find out at the end it's a dream. We already know this is just in her head. So you have
Exactly.
to expect all the silliness.
Yep.
With the help of Ruth, the Pirate King has this big giant scroll with the apprenticeship papers. And he points out to Frederick that he is obligated with his duty until his 21st birthday, not his 21st year. And because his birthday is February 29th, a leap year, he's technically only about 5 years old. I guess.
This is this is the plot from Pirates of Penzance. Again,
Seriously?
he finds out that yes, it's a legal technicality here would be it says your 21st birthday, not your 21st year. So no, he's not saying, Frederick, you're only 5 years old. He's saying if you're going by how many birthdays you've had, sir. Technically, he's getting him on a legal loophole technicality. This is bullshit, damn it. We need a smart legal like Mabel.
I was just
help
gonna
us
say.
to help us navigate this tricky situation. Something's very fishy here. He's Pirate King's really up to no good with this one. I mean, come on.
Well,
It's a technicality.
It does endear Frederick to me in that moment because he does say, you know what? Duty and honor is all I have. And you're right.
Yeah.
I love that about Frederick, actually.
Yeah. And then you get the segue into that song that Frederick is gonna sing here.
Yes.
How can I live without her?
Yes. He starts to wander the halls and sing about that. And he tells the Pirate King, we have the treasure, it's here. But the Pirate King is like, well, let me give them enough time to do what they have to do this afternoon. So we'll just attack tonight.
Yeah.
Like, why would you give a heads up and be like, we'll come back later?
Because we have a few important things that need to happen between now and then, including this song. This is Mabel's dream, damn it. She is really dictating the timeline here. So of course, Pirate King's gonna, he's gonna go off, have himself a nice light dinner, get everybody ready, and then they'll, reconvene later.
So during the song and the montage where it shows him and Frederick and Mabel doing stuff together outside, what'd you think of the butler at the lake?
I love that he's there yet again to serve them this whatever this blue juice is that he's got on tap, and he's gonna walk straight up out of the lake to give it to him and then turn around and walk right back in. What the hell?
Yes.
Only in a dream. And then also you've got, they're hanging out and she's forcing him to do what she made the Pirate King do. He's got his shirt off and he's just, when you see the two of them being silly, having this lovely little day together, the chemistry between Christopher Atkins and Christy McNichol, it's not even necessarily a great romantic chemistry. It's just chemistry.
It's
They're
pure and sweet.
they're having such a good time hanging out. It is, you can feel it through the screen. I love that.
I'm 100% agree with you. They are so pure and sweet, and you believe that even in real life, they are probably friends. Like they just get along so well. So Frederick winds up telling Mabel he can't marry her, and she accuses him right off the bat of being gay because pirates, possibly gay because pirates wear pleated shirts and leather.
Yeah. Okay. In hindsight, this is especially funny knowing that Christy McNichol herself, many, many years later, did come out publicly as a lesbian. So this is a gay woman being put in the position of going, well, maybe you gay, because look at what you and the pirates are doing. I mean,
You
it's
gay
all
boy.
these men hanging out together. You got the pleated shirts. She's pointing out something that's so obvious to women in general, which is, I mean, look at the powdered wigs George Washington was wearing. Look at the heels the men of the time were wearing. It's a little gay, isn't it? that double standard.
They were
And I
too
love it.
fabulous for their time.
Exactly. She's just pointing out how effeminate what the pirates run around doing actually appears.
Well, I do like that he immediately says he's not, and she's weird for saying that. And then she asks if he's a virgin. I mean, she's got to have her little list of like, why don't you like me? Which he replies, I don't know.
He doesn't.
His sweet, naive, he's just so adorable.
Exactly. And I love that he's trying to do the math on how long it'll be, when they could actually be together, when he would officially be free. And there's this
That's
book
right.
sitting there. He just flips the page. He's like, it's too hard to do math. 1940. Okay, there it is.
I like how he's shocked too. He's like 1940.
Exactly. And then she tells him, this is the 1880s. Why don't you stop conforming to the conventions of a neo-imperialist society? And the way that she just starts rapid fire talking and pointing all of this out. Oh my God. I love her dialogue. I love her character. She's so smart. I live for it. And then she has a great line where he's like, don't you love me? And she says, I say this to my own husband sometimes. She says, as midnight loves the moon. Oh, I love that line. It's suddenly we're in like a real romance here. Just it stopped being silly and it got real for a minute. I love it.
She does beg him out of, blow off your pirate sense of duty and you have to love me above everything else. And he's like, well, I can't. He says, what does he say? Something about I don't want to change for you to love me because then we risk losing that love.
Exactly.
Something to that effect, right?
Yeah, that he it wouldn't be right for him to change who he is for their love,
which I thought was very smart and sweet.
Yeah,
and accurate.
They're young. This is their first love. They're learning how things should and shouldn't work. And then he's telling her, well, maybe I'll see you in 1940, and then he walks away on top of the water.
I was just gonna say we get that sweet, serious moment, and then he walks away on top of the water.
Yes.
What?
But then he falls in.
And she's giggling and looks up at the camera like, hee. So then she wanders off and starts singing about believing in love and what will happen. What I liked about this was a throwback to an earlier scene. She's singing this beautiful song, walking, and she winds up in the house, in the library area, and she's holding a candle. And as she finishes her song, she blows the candle out. And then this full candelabra of candlesticks just falls over.
Exactly. Yeah.
They had been cut earlier.
They were the ones that the Pirate King couldn't blow over.
Yes. So then we see the Major General, her father, sitting, and he's at this table in a hall eating chicken wings, I guess. And he's tossing the bones over his shoulder to where the butler is standing there with the tray, but he's purposely throwing them to where the butler isn't standing.
Right.
Like to fuck with them, I guess.
Like I said, he is having to find ways to amuse himself in his retirement. And this is clearly one of his go-to moves, which is
take up golf,
throwing chicken bones in places where the butler has to basically dive to catch them because heaven forbid they hit the floor. I love that. And then the butler pieces out. He leaves the room, and you don't see her, but you hear Mabel approaching, and you hear her go, "How the hell are ya, Meadows?" as she's as she's coming into the room. Just
That's right.
I love her peppy enthusiasm. She's still just charging ahead, even though she's super depressed about Frederick leaving and falling into the lake.
Oh, she is, because she shows up here to convince her dad to lead the forces against the pirates, and she tells him, you're too drunk to do it, or whatever sweet thing she says to him, and she's like, I'll do it, but you have to pardon Frederick.
Yes, because he's busy throwing chicken bones and day drinking, which he's trying to hide from how many daughters does this man have? Let's remember there are like 50 daughters, and she is the youngest, but she's the only one who seems to be an adult in this family, because he's trying to hide his Cavassier from her. I don't know what he thinks he's up to. And yes, he's getting sloshed.
Yeah, she's all about it. She's like, fine, you're cool, I'm gonna go. She takes off on horseback, like you said. She hops this trampoline and takes off.
Yep. And this is my favorite costume of the entire movie, is the costume that Mabel is wearing throughout the rest of everything up until the end scene. This the pink pants and the white blouse.
Like the pink satin looking pants and the billowy little blouse. Yeah.
OMG, just gorgeous. Again,
Agreed.
Props to the costume people, because I'm living for it. And yeah, she jumps off on horseback, and we have what is my favorite scene in the entire movie is about to take place. Oh yeah.
So we cut to a little band of Keystone Cops, I guess they're supposed to look like, and the Tarantara song is what I called it. I don't know what it's actually called.
Yes. Actually, that is how it's spelled. That's how it's pronounced.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so good. They're just cruising along in this little choreographed march, and they're singing this song. And she approaches them, and I'm guessing the sergeant sees her in this little vision as Joan of Arc,
or some sort of herald, some sort of page.
Is that kind of what that is? I didn't know.
Yes, some sort of royal page here to, with her little Lord Fauntleroy haircut that she's got.
It was Joan of Arc.
Something like that. It's just, he's seeing her as okay. This is kind of scary. What's going on? What kind of news is she bringing here? But yeah, you have he is the sergeant, played by actor Gary McDonald, who is clearly a comedic genius portraying this guy. He is also the French inspector that we're about to meet. He's double duty both of these characters.
Oh yes, because she tries to tell them what she needs. The pirates are coming, and they peace out, like you say. They peace out. They're like, bye bye.
The way they all have to get in formation in order to run away from her.
Yes. And then she's like, I'm going to tell your inspector. And then here comes Inspector Clouseau impersonator. And like you said, also same actor.
Yeah. Gary McDonald, just absolutely freaking hilarious here.
It's so good. He's just asking her questions in this crazy French accent, and she can't understand what he's saying.
Yeah. So he's going to try to spell it. The fugitive. F-U. And she says, up yours too, Froggy.
Oh, no, fugitive. Oh, got it. Right.
Yeah. Parrots, pirates, nurse, horse, Polly want a cracker. Yeah. Just the back and forth, how fast it is, and the playing on the mispronunciation of the words. This whole scene is my favorite scene in the whole movie. It makes me cackle every time I see it.
And it's so spot on. Like the second he rolls up, I'm like, oh, Inspector Clouseau. He didn't even have to open his mouth.
Right.
And
then
embodied
he gets
him.
Foot stuck in the wheel of the bicycle and dragging it along, and still just so ridiculous.
So she just says, follow me. Stuff's happening. Shit's going down. Just follow me. She gets back to the estate, and the pirates are going to march on the Stanleys. Oh, the cops. They're apprehensive. You can tell.
Right.
They do not want to be there.
Oh, you can really tell. Well, so first of all, let's just say in a definite ode to Monty Python, these men clearly are members of the Ministry of Silly Walks as a unit. So
I got that vibe too.
When Mabel is trying to urge them on, these are bad men. They do horrible things. You have to put a stop to them. They're cop killers. And all their nightsticks just go limp. So funny.
That's right. Oh, they're still there though when the pirates attack, because one of my favorite scenes, I have so many, the pirates are invading and the cops are kind of there, and it's Tarantara also with the pirate song that they're singing kind of overlapping each other.
Yes, this brilliant mashup.
A mashup. Thank you.
Yes. So well done.
Oh,
It's-
isn't it?
I feel like I'm watching a genius Broadway show right now during this scene. But if we can just back up and talk about how the pirates got in the first place,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
because when they've got their giant, tree trunk, they're gonna ram the gates, and then they decide to go ahead and drop it instead and build a human pyramid. First of all, what the hell? So silly. And then when they get up to the actual doors, before they try to ram the door, the pirate king needs his cape, and one of the big muscle men pirates puts the cape on him and then gingerly gives him a little kiss on the cheek. Just he needs to. This is a very important part of the process. And then when they're gonna ram the door, instead of doing it, they use this giant tree trunk to ring the doorbell. Just so stupid. And then yes,
it really
you have-
is. It's so funny.
they enter the house and now they're trashing it, and you've got this mashup with the cops musically that just works so brilliantly. It's so cool.
It is. It's so good. And Frederick ends up coming across Mabel hiding in a suit of armor, and they profess their love for each other, but that they have to be enemies now.
Yes,
It's so sad.
I know. And poor Mabel being stuck in there. Have you tried running in one of those? It's a real bitch.
I was thinking, how the hell did she get in it?
I know. How the hell does that even happen? How do you do that?
I mean, yeah, at her little
Yep.
5'3" and no muscles.
Yep, I know. She's so stinking cute. And then she has one of my favorite lines here, which is where he says, "Come what may," and she says, "We'll all be burdened in our beds, come what may." I still say that anytime in my life when someone says "come what may," I go, "We'll all be murdered in our beds, come what may," and nobody has any idea. Am I trying to threaten you? What? Why am I saying this? I love that line. I just love it.
Murder? What? So the pirates finally trap all the women in, I think it was the library, and they throw up this big rope thing and they're going to climb up, and the women are fighting them off. And then I love that the sergeant and the police, they come there, but then everybody waits outside and they shove the sergeant in by himself, and he's scared to be in there.
Yep.
Confronting the pirates.
Yes, he has to refer to his notebook so he can remember what he needs to say. They're busted into the library. The pirate king says, "Seize him!" And then all the pirates grab Samuel and lift him up. I love that moment. Like, no, not him, you idiots.
Not him.
It's just total melee is happening. And then the women are being badass with Mabel leading the way. They've got the weapons and
Yes.
they're defending themselves. And then, yeah, the sergeant comes in, "Hello, hello." And then he has to look at his notes. "Hello?" Like, "It is my duty, blah, blah, blah." And then his nightstick goes around the room and deflates like a balloon.
And the noise that goes with it.
Yes. Again, give me a little fart joke. I live for it. It's funny.
Okay. So the pirates chase everyone into this room. It's filled with what appears to be circus decor and equipment and large punching bag, dumbbells. What kind of room is this?
So this is the gym / circus training / theater. This is where what we're seeing is Mabel's dream is continuing down a path of silliness where things aren't even making sense at all. What is this room? What's going
Not
on?
at all.
Yeah, her dream mind is working on overdrive, and things are just really starting to fall apart logically.
Yes, everybody's battling everybody. And then we have
Yep.
we have our Indiana Jones moment.
Yes, just like with Star Wars, that it's another thing that she loves that's on her mind. Indiana Jones would show up. Why not? It is a dream. You got the Pirate King over there lifting weights, and he's unintentionally knocking one of the cops out with the dumbbells every time he lowers them.
And then a chef in a chef hat wheels in a cart full of pies, and one
Right.
of them goes, "Not pies," and he's like, "No, pizza," and he pulls out a bunch of
Yes, because what could make this whole scene even sillier? How about a pie fight? So Mabel's brain again, it's just on overdrive with this shit. The stuff that's happening when they're fighting, the total ridiculousness, you get Frederick barking again. The cops are accidentally attacking each other because they're so stupid and they're so panicked. The running physical jokes that are happening. And then you've got the pirate. I want to get out of here right now. The parrot saying to Long John Silver, let's go. Let's get out of here. And then you've got this one shot where the cops are all ganging up and beating on one pirate in particular. And it looks like someone's filming some sort of police brutality incident here where he's like, get that camera out of my face. No, you can't record this. Just total absolute chaos.
But during all the chaos, Frederick and Mabel do wind up finding each other in the middle of all this. And the music swells and they almost kiss. And then all of a sudden we assume she's kneed him in the balls.
Oh yeah.
he goes, oh, and he like falls down.
Yes.
Oh, and then she breaks the fourth wall again and she looks at us and she says, war is hell.
Yeah. We got to remember Mabel is a take charge kind of gal. And at the moment they are sworn enemies. So she's going to do what she's got to do.
Well, everything gets broken up and stops because the Major General enters. And then the pirates take him off his horse and they start holding everyone at knife point. And the Pirate King starts yelling to all of them, rip their lungs out, feed them to the sharks. And the screen has this ripple and it's like red hue. Mabel just yells, wait a minute. And everyone freezes. And I was like having a full-on Zach and Saved by the Bell moment. I just tell everybody to freeze and everybody stops,
Only it makes sense here because the bitch is she's such a smart cookie. She is lucid dreaming, my friends. She has realized inside her dream that she is dreaming. And wait a minute, these people will do whatever I want them to do. Why am I letting it happen like this? I can't let it end like this. No way.
Yes, she literally says, this is my dream and I want a happy ending. And everybody unfreezes and cheers.
Yes. It's going to be more fun. Come on.
So the Major General knights Sir Frederick and gives him permission to marry Mabel. And she reminds him of the custom. And then again, like the strong woman thing, she takes charge and says, you know what? I'm just going to freeze everybody and pair everybody up. And she starts pairing off all her sisters with the different pirates.
Well, yeah, which, is not something that goes against what they want because like you said earlier, they were clearly sort of enjoying this moment they're having with the pirates after them and getting picked up. They want to be pillaged a little bit. So, yeah, she knows it's not against their consent. They're into it.
I do love when she's pairing them off. They all make these silly poses and then she ends up pairing off two male pirates together.
The two big muscly ones.
Yes!
And the faces they make when they freeze like, oh, okay. So I guess this is a thing now.
Yeah, they don't hate it.
Pleasantly surprised. Yeah, they're pretty happy.
And the Pirate King accepts that he's going to be with Ruth. He realized he was with her when he was blindfolded.
Yes. She's age appropriate. She's definitely on your level sexually. Get with it, man. Accept it.
So Frederick and Mabel kiss and there's fireworks and then we cue the music for the song Happy Ending. And then it cuts to everybody in beautiful like white attire, like wedding-ish attire. And they're all dancing and singing. During the sequence of the dancing and singing, the song, Frederick gets down on his knee and puts a ring on her finger.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
They're getting married. Everybody's getting married. Except, of course, General Stanley, who is just really happy to have another plate of chicken bones.
He's got Meadows. He's fine.
Yeah, he and Meadows, they've got a good thing going. They're going to play the chicken bone game all day long and enjoy the hell out of this beautifully shot, simple choreography, but very well executed. Just a gorgeous number that makes me feel like I'm really watching this Broadway show, like this fantastic musical production.
It's so effective. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a wonderful happy ending.
Yeah.
But then we fade back and cut to Mabel waking up on the beach and she's wearing the ring that she got in her dream. I love that. Mm-hmm. Christopher Atkins approaches her and just kisses her.
Yep.
Okay. She wanted it. So, I mean, I guess it's all right. And then she asks him if his name is Frederick and he says, no.
No. Her name happens to be Mabel. That doesn't mean he's actually Frederick. Come on.
Right.
That would be silly. Right.
That's the thing that would be silly.
Yep. Exactly. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
But he picks her up and he carries her off because they're going to be together. And
Yeah.
then another cut to them leaving. They're at the top of a pirate ship and they're walking down the plank or whatever, the stairs that you use to get up on the ship. And there's like arches of ribbons and flowers and the crowd's cheering and there's an upbeat 80s song playing. They're wearing beautiful clothes, like she's got a gold outfit on.
Yep.
I'm guessing, did they get married? Really?
Yes, this is their wedding. So they obviously they took some time, got to know each other, yada yada yada. This is where whatever his actual name is, this is where he works. This is their happy place. So yeah, they're getting married and they're throwing themselves a big old bash on the ship that we saw in the beginning, the one Frederick or Christopher Atkins works on, and all the people are there.
See, I
Yeah.
thought so, but they don't quite say that that's what's happening. But
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Pretty
And
obvious?
then
Okay.
and then you've got what is a modernized 1980s rather than 1880s version of Happy Ending that is playing, which I love. I love this little rock version of Happy Ending that
I
you're
got-
getting.
yes, I got full like Stevie Wonder-ish vibes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then you've got, like you were commenting on what Mabel is wearing. I love that. Yes, she's wearing the pants. Bitch. It's her wedding and she's going to wear gold lame and black pants. Ain't no dress and skirt for her because we got to stay true to who Mabel is.
Well, and I like that she's all looking so different from when she did when we first saw her.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's stepped up her game.
Oh yeah, she stepped it up. Dream Mabel has now infused real life Mabel in a great way.
And then that is the end of our glorious film. And it leaves me wanting to go rewatch it as soon as we're done talking right now. Again.
I know. Can I go do it again?
I know.
Yeah. So yeah, I rewatched it twice, and a third rewatch is happening shortly because hearing me watch it and talk about it, my husband, who hasn't seen it since the 80s, was like, "That was so one of my favorites, and I want to watch it again." So I'm gonna watch it with him soon.
Well, before we peace out ourselves, I've got 3 questions for you.
You got it.
All right. So the first one is, now that I know the history, I didn't quite know the history of Pirates of Penzance and how it all came to be and why they did this. There is no Broadway version of this movie, like a fun with these musical numbers. Do you think that there should be one? Like, would you go see it if this movie was in Broadway form?
This is one of those perfect examples of how sometimes you and I seem to share a brain, miss, because in my last bullet point note, back in the mid 90s, I was of the sole and firm belief that my favorite musical at the time, Newsies, should be done as a Broadway show, damn it. I was telling everybody I knew. I tried to get my drama teacher to consider doing it as a school production. Like, I was firm in that belief. And that's how I've always felt about the pirate movie. I specifically have a note here. You could take the bits and pieces that they cherry picked of Pirates of Penzance, bookend it with this modernization, and the whole thing, including all the silly humor and updates they did, would work so beautifully, and it would be so much fun as a Broadway show. Somebody make it happen. I was right about Newsies, and I think I'm right about this too. We'll call it the Pirate Show.
I'll take 2 tickets, please.
Yep.
So that leads me flawlessly right to my next question. If this was updated in any way, don't you think it might lose its magic with all the censoring that would have to be done? Because this movie is not 2021 friendly, really, if you think about it. Do you think it would lose its magic if we had to censor it down, to pare it down for it to be appropriate today?
Appropriate for who? I've seen Broadway shows that are in no way appropriate for most people under the age of 18, and they work beautifully. Like, know your audience, know who you're marketing this to. I would not take my 10-year-old to see Rock of Ages. I would not take my 10-year-old to see Book of Mormon. There's plenty of highbrow, highly sexually charged, very adult humor out there in the land of Broadway shows. And it works. It's not family friendly, but it works, and it works well. You could totally, if you just sort of amped up Mabel's correction when people are being politically incorrect, if you amped that up, gave her feminism and her smarts of how she's really the one figuring things out and in charge. If you just amped that up, made it even a little stronger, you could use her as a tool to correct the misguidedness of the political incorrect stuff and keep it. It's an adult show, folks.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I think it would totally work in this year. Absolutely.
And then my final question, which I always save the most important one for last, as you know. Did you want to be a pirate? Did you want to throw caution to the wind and just go be pillaged?
Well, see, the pirates are the ones doing the pillaging, not the ones being pillaged. I am definitely Team Mabel. I don't want to be a pirate. I don't want to be a goofy little damsel in distress who's waiting to be pillaged. I want to be authentic Mabel. I want to be a badass little bitch who's 5'3", weighs 100 pounds soaking wet, and is large and in charge. Yeah, that's me. That's who I want to be. I don't want to be one of the pirates. She's just so sassy. She's so smart. Oh God, I love her as a character. That's who I'm aiming for. I want to be Mabel.
All right. Well, personally, I would choose the same simply because I get seasick. So I don't want to be a pirate.
Yeah, there's that too. That could be a little
Yeah.
bit problematic. I'm not a big fan of deep sea creatures myself, so that would be a thing that I would want to avoid. Yeah, I'm good on land.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up the pirate movie for us. In case anybody is interested in checking this one out, it was on VHS for a while. There are there are out of print DVDs you can track down, possibly on the interwebs. But at the moment, you can watch it on YouTube as long as the link stays up. I'll try to put the link in our episode description, but search it out, because if you've never seen this movie and you can throw logic and caution to the wind, like we said, it is so much fun and it flies by. So we're going to end on that note. I want to thank my co-host, Nikki Flicks, for joining me. And until next time, bye.
See you guys.
Hey listeners, Movie Miss here. Listen, I know you have a lot of options when it comes to podcasts, so thank you for listening to the show. I know everybody says this, but for a fledgling little show like ours that's just hanging on, we just finished season 4, we're rolling into season 5, it would really help us if you could subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Good Pods. We're also on Pandora, Audible, Amazon Music. It would really help us grow the show and reach more people if you could subscribe and then rate and review, which is really the key part of it. Make sure to be part of our bad movie conversation by following us on social media. Interact with me on social media. I'm on Instagram at Movie Miss, which is movie_miss. The show is on Instagram at Let's Talk Turkeys. Also on Blue Sky at Let's Talk Turkeys and Facebook. We're on X. I'm honestly not sure how much longer I'm going to have the show on there, but currently the handle is at Gobble Podcast. Get it? Gobble, 'cause like a turkey. You can also chat with like-minded bad movie lovers in our Facebook discussion group. And like I mentioned, we're rolling into season 5. It is 2025. The show, it's been a wild ride, still going strong. So if you have a movie that you would like to hear covered on the show, let me know by emailing direct at letstalkturkeys, all one word, at yahoo.com. Also, hit me up on socials if you want to be a guest on the show. Always looking for guests. I can assign you a movie, something we think is fun, or you can bring a movie that you think is a bad movie if it has a low Rotten Tomatoes score, or you just really don't like the movie but you like to talk about it. That's half the fun, I think. Again, this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. Without you, the show wouldn't still be kicking around. So thank you so much for hanging in there with us.
I'll be back.
Get the fuck out of here. No, I cannot.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Why don't you get the fuck out of here? Get the fuck out of here. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.